Vigliotti, and I work at the Writing Center at Loyola College in Maryland.
How would you describe the Writing Center?
The Writing Center is a resource on campus for students to come and discuss any aspect of their writing.
And where is it located?
It's located in Jenkins, which is right next to the Humanities Center in the basement.
What exactly is the process for getting a consultation at the Writing Center?
You can walk in, but sometimes consultations will have to have less time. A typical consultation is an hour with an appointment, and you just call in to the desk assistant and they make the appointment for you.
Exactly what is your position at the Writing Center?
I'm a writing consultant, which means that I work with student writers and discuss their writing with them. Everyone who works at the Writing Center has to take a course. It discusses the theory behind the Writing Center, what it's all about, what writing centers across the nation are about, and how to deal with student writers. And then after that, the next semester, you could start working.
What do people come to you for help with most commonly?
Everything. I've had history of Western civilization papers, effective writing papers. I've had speech pathology papers, theology. So any assignment we deal with.
What does the Writing Center expect you to do for a student?
The Writing Center expects me to foster a discussion about the student's writing, because the Writing Center wants it to be more about the discussion of writing than the actual assignment,
Right.
and more about the student as a subject.
What does a student typically expect from a consultation?
A student is more focused on the assignment that they come in with. Yeah, their specific paper. So they really just want to get that paper up to par with what their teacher wants. Sometimes what they want to focus on changes. When they come in, we have them fill out a sheet that gives us a guideline for what they want to go over, whether it's higher order concerns like structure or an organization within paragraphs or grammar. And a lot of the time they just want like a copy edit.
Right.
But we try to make the consultation into more than that.
There seems to be a disconnect between the theory behind the Writing Center, them wanting you to foster a conversation about the students' writing and work on the students' writing as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
and how it actually happens in practice, because students come and they want the help, but they mostly want to get it done, like the paper done. So how do you compensate for this in a consultation?
The first thing I do in a consultation is, while they're filling out that guiding sheet, I take a look at their paper and note what we need to go over. There are higher order concerns in editing and there are lesser order concerns, and higher order concerns are about the focus of the paper. Lesser order concerns are grammar. In my experience, they are very open to suggestions and anything we have to say. I try to guide it in the way where I'm working on the paper and they know that I'm working on the paper, but we're also discussing, if we come to a part where there's a grammar problem, I see a typical grammar problem, like a problem with semicolons, we'll get out the book and we'll discuss the use of the semicolons for future writing, so that I know that they're leaving not only with that paper and this sentence corrected, but that they'll know how to use it in the future. Certain teachers' expectations, usually that's a big question where I'll say, oh, you can do it this way or this way or this way. Do you know what your teacher wants? And we get into a next conversation about that. And it really is a conversation because the student is sometimes confused. Why is the teacher telling me that? I was taught differently in high school. Mm-hmm. So I find that they generally want to have the discussion too, but we do focus on the paper, and in the 15 minutes we just try to make as much progress on the paper while also making sure that the student leaves with a broader understanding of writing in general.
What are some misconceptions about the Writing Center?
A lot of the time the Writing Center is viewed as a remedial center for lesser able students to come in. And again, going back to the idea of writing as a discussion, we see the discussions in the Writing Center taking place between organic intellectuals, which means people who are constantly trying to reevaluate and discover new knowledge in any area. And that happens through discussion with other people. Also, that learning is collective. So we want to have that discussion with any writer at any stage in their writing. And good writers usually want to improve and want to discuss.
What would you say are some misconceptions about writing in general?
There is a common misconception about ESL writers that the Writing Center emphasizes because a lot of people assume that when they come in with a disconnected paper or something that someone is not familiar with, a style of writing, that the thinking isn't there, and also that the best way to mediate that is to shove grammar guides into their hands. And knowing how to, a general misconception of writing is that knowing how to use grammar makes you a good writer. Knowing how to use a semicolon makes you able to separate two linking ideas, but neither of those ideas have to make any sense to put the semicolon there.
It sounds like you guys have to do a lot of learning, like a lot of evolving even beyond the class that you had to take and the observation hours that you had to put in to get the job, even on the job. Sounds like you guys are always changing your methods
Right.
and finding out what's the best way to help a student.
The Writing Center department works on a lot of research projects. The Writing Center is constantly trying to increase resources and to try to solve these controversial questions.
I know that the Writing Center gets mentioned a lot to prospective students, and that some teachers, I understand, make it required for students to have consultations about their papers before they're due. But do you feel that students really take advantage of the opportunity, or do you think that the Writing Center has become a forgotten resource on campus?
I know that some teachers encourage it, definitely. My sociology teacher from last year encouraged it. I know, numerous teachers who encourage the use of the Writing Center. I don't think, we're definitely working on ways to publicize ourselves more around campus, because I think it's just sometimes students get to a certain point where they're not seeking out any more resources, where they're comfortable with what they have, and they know what they know about the campus, and that's what fits into their daily life. But so it could be a matter of some students not knowing.
Is there anything that I missed or anything else that you would like to talk about?
Come to the Writing Center. We're interested in talking to you and seeing where you are with your writing and where we can get it.